The grand ceremony hall of the royal palace blazed with divine light as Saintess Seraphina raised her hand to bestow the sacred blessing. Below her, the handsome knight Lucian knelt in gleaming armor, a confident smile playing on his lips. As the crowd adored him, the crowd erupted in cheers, their faith sealed on this single glittering moment.
I drove the blade into the demon lord's heart, and this is my reward?
Hidden in a dark alcove, Kale pressed a trembling hand to his gaping wound, blood seeping between his fingers.
The Saintess never even looked my way. Her blessing, her light, it was all for him.
Seraphina's voice cut through the hall like a sacred decree. Lucian, the realm's savior, she believed with a faith so pure, it became cruelty. Blind to the truth, bleeding in the shadows, Kale's world narrowed to the throb of his injuries and the roar of a celebration that was never his. As the kingdom lifted their false hero on high, the true chosen one stood alone, unseen, unknown, unmourned. 3 days earlier, the kingdom's fate was still unwritten on a battlefield, drenched in ash and despair.
I am the only one left standing. If I don't end it now, everyone dies.
Kale's blade carved through the demon lord's hide, but the monstrosity kept swinging its crushing fists, with a scream torn from his soul. Kale drove his sword into the demon lord's heart, piercing through to the hilt. The demon lord crashed to the ground, a cascade of foul light erupting from its chest as the evil was extinguished.
I did it. It's finally over.
Before Kale could catch his breath, Lucian emerged from behind a shattered boulder, his armor gleaming and unmarred. Lucian snatched up the bloodied sword and raised it high, his voice carrying across the smoldering field.
The demon lord is slaughtered. I, Lucian, have dealt the killing stroke.
Thus, the lie was born, a stolen victory sealed with a brother's duplicity, while the true hero lay unmoving in the dirt. After the ceremony, Kale was dragged before the throne, his brother's lies already woven into a cloak of heroism.
This man is a fraud. He claims my victory as his own.
He's twisting everything, and no one will believe me.
Seraphina, her face serene, placed her blessing upon Lucian without a single glance toward the bleeding figure in chains. Royal knights tore the insignia from Kale's tunic, each rip a public branding of dishonor.
All I did, and this is my fate.
They cast him into a dark cell, the iron door slamming shut with a finality that echoed his despair. In the damp silence, a faint light pulsed on Kale's right hand, a mark he had never chosen.
What is this?
The mark flickered weakly, as if sensing its bearer's shattered will, then faded, leaving only the cold stone walls. But deep in the dungeon, the mark on Kale's hand suddenly ignited, searing pain jolting him awake.
This pain, it's different. I feel power, immense power, coursing through me.
Light erupted from his palm, blasting the iron cell door clean off its hinges with a deafening crack.
I can break free, but I won't be a pawn in their game anymore.
Guards rushed at the commotion, but Kale moved like a phantom, his body honed by the surging energy. By dawn, he slipped out a forgotten postern gate, the capital's walls shrinking behind him.
So, this is what I've become, a fugitive. But no chains will ever hold me again.
He walked until the sun sank low, the strange mark pulsing faintly with each heartbeat.
Whatever this power is, I'll master it. From now on, I rely on myself alone.
The kingdom that had cast him out would never see him bend again. He would forge his own path beyond the lies. Weeks passed in solitude until smoke on the horizon halted Kale's march. A village was burning.
Monsters. The kingdom's protection doesn't reach this far.
He descended without a thought, his body moving faster than fear, the mark on his hand blazing hotter than the flames. Powers he barely understood burst from him, a wave of raw force that shattered the monstrous pack like kindling. Silence fell, broken only by the crackle of dying embers and the hesitant steps of survivors emerging. A small child ran forward, not in fear but with a trembling flower, pressing it into Kale's battered hand.
I didn't save you for a reward, but thank you.
The villagers gathered, voices rising in gratitude, calling him a hero sent by the old gods.
A hero. Number. I am just someone who couldn't stand by. That's enough for now.
The mark on his hand pulsed steadily, as if recognizing the path he had begun, a defender of the forgotten. In the sacred silence of the high temple, Seraphina knelt before the altar, her prayers heavy with unease. A blinding radiance descended from the heavens, enveloping her in a warmth that burned with revelation. Visions crashed into her mind, the blood-soaked battlefield, the demon lord's roar, and a lone figure. She watched Kale's blade shatter the demon's heart, his body crumpling as the light faded from his eyes. Then Lucian emerged from shadow, snatching the sword, his lips curling into a victor's smirk.
Number, that was Kale, the one I accused, the one I branded a criminal.
The vision showed her own hand, blessing Lucian, while Kale, in chains, looked at her with hollow eyes. A divine voice echoed in her soul. You were deceived, Saintess. The true hero walks forgotten.
I threw him away. I proclaimed the lie and condemned the truth.
The light vanished, leaving her broken on the cold stones, her sobs the only prayer she could offer. But Seraphina did not remain broken. With trembling legs, she rose from the cold stones, her sorrow transforming into a desperate need for truth.
Lucian, the gods showed me a vision. It was Kale who killed the demon lord, not you. Why did you lie?
A vision? You dare question the hero of the kingdom. Your mind has been clouded, Saintess.
The divine light does not lie. Your own brother bled in the mud while you stole his glory.
Lucian's confident facade cracked. His eyes darted, but he refused to yield, turning away with a sneer. Seraphina left his chambers, not with victory, but with a vow to uncover every witness who had seen the truth. She found a veteran knight in the garrison, his armor still bearing scars from the demon campaign. Under the compulsion of her holy aura, he confessed, it was Kale. We all saw it. Lucian only emerged when the demon was already dead. Lucian paced in his chambers, fingernails bitten raw, knowing each testimony was a nail in his legacy's coffin.
The truth is clear. But if I proclaim it now, the kingdom will crumble. I must find Kale myself.
In a nameless village, Kale overheard worried whispers. Since the hero's departure, darkness crept closer, and the kingdom's defenses were crumbling.
The kingdom that cast me out. Part of me wants to see it burn. But the people, they don't deserve this.
Suddenly, the mark on his hand seared. A chilling pulse rang through him. A dark force, vast and hungry, was gathering somewhere near the capital.
This power, it recognized that presence. Like a call, something evil is returning.
He stood on a windswept hill, staring toward the distant capital. Smoke from monster raids smudged the sky, a silent plea for aid.
I swore I'd never go back. But if I do nothing, how am I different from those who abandoned me?
The mark burned hotter, as if demanding action, a righteous fury that overwhelmed old bitterness.
I won't be their hero again. I won't forgive. But I won't let demons slaughter innocents while I stand idle.
With a long, weary breath, he turned his steps back toward the capital, not for glory, but because it was the only right thing to do. The hero's mark pulsed like a heartbeat, lighting the path back to the kingdom that had forsaken everything he was. Before dawn, Seraphina slipped from the capital, a simple cloak hiding her holy vestments, only one loyal guard at her side. They followed fragmented rumors of a mysterious hero, dark-haired, with a strange glowing mark, leaving salvation in his wake.
Every rumor pulls me closer. But will he even look at me after what I've done?
In a village spared by his hand, Seraphina sat at a rough-hewn table, listening to tearful accounts of Kale's quiet courage. An old woman spoke of how he refused any reward, only asking that they protect each other.
He saved these people, and they love him, while I condemned him to a cell.
Another villager described how he shielded the children with his own body, his hand burning with divine fire.
Divine fire. The hero's mark. It was him all along, and I was blind.
She left a trail of grateful whispers behind her, each story a lash on her conscience as she spurred her horse toward the next horizon. The reports converged on a road leading east. Kale was ahead, and so was the darkness he hunted. A sudden shriek tore the sky as demons erupted from fissures in the earth, swarming the capital's outer walls. Lucian's soldiers fell like wheat before a scythe. From a ridge, Kale witnessed the carnage, the very people who scorned him now being slaughtered. His jaw tightened.
The kingdom can't hold them. I have to act.
He strode toward the gates, the mark on his hand igniting with a brilliant, searing light. Guards scrambled aside, recognizing the divine fire. Kale plunged into the demon horde, his power erupting in a wave that sent creatures flying, but the tide was endless. He fought like a man possessed, every strike a detonation of light. Yet for every demon felled, two more took its place. Miles away, Seraphina reined her horse, so sharply it reared. Her staff blazed with sudden, violent brightness.
That divine energy. It's Kale. He's already fighting.
Without a word, she spurred her horse into a gallop, racing toward the divine inferno that marked Kale's stand.
I didn't come back for honor, but I won't let this city fall.
Kale moved through the horde like a divine storm, each sweep of his blazing hand carving a path of ash and light. Amid the chaos, Lucian appeared on the ramparts, raising his sword, but froze as a massive demon lunged and stumbled back in terror. Mothers clutching children, elders leaning from windows, all eyes turned from the flinching hero to the lone warrior below. Kale destroyed a towering demon with a single blinding punch, its corpse crashing into a dozen others. The hero's mark on his hand flared, a sacred brand unmistakable to any who knew the old scriptures. Whispers spread like fire. That light, it's the true hero's mark, the one the Saintess spoke of in the old prophecy.
Impossible. That mark is a curse. He's a fraud.
But his words died in the din of battle. The people watched the real hero fight, and the illusion crumbled. Kale, oblivious to the crowd's dawning recognition, pressed forward, his only thought to stem the tide. For the first time, hope flickered in the capital's eyes, and it rested not on a glittering knight, but on the man they had thrown away. Seraphina stumbled into the city plaza, her breath catching as she saw the figure wreathed in divine flame. There, amid the carnage, stood Kale, his hand blazing with the true hero's mark, a giant demon crumbling at his feet. At that very moment, Seraphina's staff erupted with a burst of radiant light, entirely of its own accord.
The gods are confirming it. Before all the kingdom, Kale is the chosen one.
The divine light shot into the sky, forming the sacred symbol of the hero's mark, a testament no one could deny. The crowd, from soldiers to beggars, fell silent. Then gasps rippled. The truth had been unveiled by the heavens themselves. From the ramparts, Lucian saw the sacred sign, his face draining of all color, his lies exposed beyond refute. Seraphina, tears streaming down her cheeks, fell to her knees, not in prayer, but in profound, irrevocable shame. She had condemned the gods chosen. She had blessed the thief, and now her mistake was carved in divine light for all to see. Yet Kale did not turn. He stood, breath heaving, the last demon vanquished, his back to the Saintess and the city she could no longer comfort. Seraphina scrambled to her feet, her voice breaking as she called his name into the deadly silence.
That voice. I used to dream of hearing it call for me. Not anymore.
The crowd parted before him like a tide, some dropping to their knees, others whispering the sacred name of the true hero. Seraphina pushed through the throng, her fingers straining toward his retreating back.
She begs with her eyes. But those same eyes looked away while I bled in the dirt.
Without a backward glance, Kale passed through the shattered gates and into the castle, leaving the world he once loved behind him. She crumpled to the cobblestones, the weight of his silence crushing whatever hope she had dared to hold.
I never even said I am sorry, and now it's too late.
The courtyard, so recently filled with divine glory, now lay under a shroud of collective shame. His figure vanished into the castle's dark maw, a silent specter of judgment that left the kingdom trembling in the void of his absence. Kale stalked the empty halls, his mark illuminating the dust until he found Lucian shivering in a forgotten antechamber.
Stay back. You got what you wanted. The crowd adores you.
Kale didn't answer. He simply raised his hand, the mark blazing brighter than any torch, filling the room with holy light.
Why, Lucian? You were my brother.
Because you were always better. Stronger, braver. Even the gods chose you. I couldn't stand living in your shadow.
Lucian crumpled to the floor, sobs tearing from him, the confession of a lifetime of petty jealousy and gnawing inferiority.
I don't hate you. I pity you. You are so small. You couldn't even let yourself be loved for who you were.
Without another word, Kale turned his back, the mark's glow fading as he stepped toward the door.
Wait, where are you going? Without you, I am nothing.
The door closed, leaving Lucian in darkness with nothing but the echo of his own folly and the ghost of a brother he never deserved. Kale moved through the empty corridor, but the soft scramble of footsteps and a trembling voice shattered the silence.
Kale, please. Just one moment. I am begging you.
She threw herself to her knees before him, the sacred staff clattering to the cold stone.
I was blind. I condemned the gods chosen. No apology is enough. But I'll give you any honor, any title, anything you ask.
Honor. As if their trinkets could wash away the blood I shed.
I'll renounce my station. I'll follow you as a humble servant. Just please, let me atone for what I've done.
Once, I would have done anything for your blessing. But you taught me that your blessing is worthless, and so are your promises.
The words struck more cruelly than any blade, and she crumbled, her sobs echoing through the cold hallway.
I threw away the one person who would have stood by me for nothing.
Kale walked on, never looking back, leaving the Saintess alone with her shattered guilt and a kingdom that would never forgive her. Kale emerged from the castle into the hushed courtyard, where a sea of faces now watched him with a mixture of awe and shame. The same crowd that had cheered Lucian now fell to their knees, their whispered apologies like a prayer.
I did not come back for your adulation. I came because I would not let demons feast on the innocent.
An elder stepped forward, voice trembling. Stay, true hero. We were blind, but now we see. The kingdom needs you.
You have your hero, Lucian, and you have your Saintess.
Without waiting for a reply, he turned his back on the capital, walking past the silent throng toward the broken gates. They reached out, fingers brushing his tattered cloak, but none could stop him. On the castle steps, Seraphina watched, her heart shattering with each step he took.
This kingdom is no longer my home. Perhaps it never was.
He walked until the capital was a smudge on the horizon, leaving behind the glory he never wanted and the debts no one could repay. Seraphina stood frozen on the desolate steps, her gaze still locked on the distant point where Kale had disappeared. A cold, divine whisper coiled through her mind. You discarded the chosen one. Your blessing was a curse, your light a shadow.
He never needed my blessing. His strength was always his own. I only deluded myself into thinking I mattered.
She saw now. She had never truly looked at Kale. Only the idea of a hero, a figure to bless, an icon to elevate.
I threw away the real thing because it didn't glitter like a painted saint.
The sacred staff beside her pulsed with a dying light, its radiance weeping like an extinguished star. The crowd that had once adored her now murmured in pity and blame before melting into the stone alleys.
I would trade every miracle, every divine whisper, just to undo that single moment of blindness.
The heavens gave no response. The silence confirmed her unworthiness more than any divine thunder ever could. Alone on the cold stone, the Saintess wept, not for her fallen grace, but for the hero she had thrown away, never to return. Months drifted by like leaves on a gentle stream, and Kale found himself on the edge of a village that asked no questions. He worked the fields shoulder to shoulder with farmers, his hands growing calloused from the plow, not the sword. The mark on his hand had faded to a soft, perpetual warmth, no longer a raging fire, but a quiet companion.
This scar used to define me. Now it's just another part of who I am.
Children flocked to him like butterflies, pulling his sleeves, begging for stories of faraway lands.
All right, little one. I'll tell you about the star that fell into the sea, if you promise to eat your vegetables.
When a storm damaged the mill, he used his power without a second thought, lifting beams, mending roofs, never seeking praise.
I don't miss the capital. I don't miss the ornate halls. This is a life worth living.
At night, he would gaze at the stars, and they no longer mirrored the fires of war, but the hearth of a peaceful home. The hero's saga had ended, and in its place bloomed a quiet story of a man who finally found where he belonged. While Kale plowed peaceful fields, the capital choked on the dust of its own ruin, its towers still scarred from the demon siege. Lucian was dragged before a cold tribunal, stripped of his knighthood and titles, his armor torn from him piece by piece. Now a pariah, he haunted the slums like a wraith, his once captivating smile replaced by a hollow stare.
They cheer his name now, the brother I envied. I am nothing.
In the central square, a statue of Kale was erected, his stone gaze forever looking outward, never turning back. But the whispers in the streets were not of triumph, they were of loss. The true hero left us, and he isn't coming back. And each night, the Saintess stood at the temple window, her silhouette a permanent fixture against the moon. The kingdom had its hero immortalized in marble, but his living heart had long since fled beyond their reach. Lucian's exile was a quiet footnote, a name now uttered only as a curse in nursemaids' cautionary tales. Thus the stolen glory crumbled into dust, leaving only a hollow legend and a reminder that the truest heroes don't need statues. Seraphina still donned her sacred vestments each dawn, but her movements were hollow, her blessings merely echoes of a lost grace. Each day, she paused at a worn spot on the floor, the very stone where Kale once knelt, and the mark he left pulsed with a faint, mournful light.
Even the temple refuses to forget him. This light, it's his silent judgment.
Her prayers became a ritual of apology, but the divine no longer answered. Only silence met her pleas.
I cast out the chosen one. Why would the heavens listen to a saintess who couldn't see what was right in front of her?
As dusk swallowed the world, she drifted to the high window, her nightly vigil, watching the very road where his figure had disappeared.
He's out there somewhere, living a life I'll never know, and that is my punishment.
Behind her, the hero's mark on the floor flickered like a heartbeat, then faded, leaving her alone in the cold stone chamber.
No forgiveness, no redemption, only this silence, and the ghost of a hero I threw away.
And so the Saintess remained, a living monument to regret, her legend forever bound to the hero who walked away. On a gentle afternoon, Kale paused from his work, his gaze drifting toward the distant horizon, where the capital lay. A small child tugged at his sleeve, eyes wide with innocent curiosity.
Do I miss being a hero? I was never truly a hero. I was just someone who did what needed to be done.
The mark on his hand pulsed once, softly, like a contented heartbeat.
Now, I am just a man who plows fields and tells stories, and that's more than enough.
He returned to his work, the weight of the past lighter than the sun on his shoulders.
The capital can keep its statues. I have my place here.
As dusk painted the sky, he stood on a low hill, the village lights twinkling below.
No regrets, only lessons, and a quiet tomorrow.
The hero's mark dimmed to a gentle warmth, and Kale walked down the hill toward the lights of home. Kale walked into the dying sun, his silhouette a quiet monument against the fiery sky. The hero's mark glowed on his hand, no longer a burden, but a part of his quiet strength. A memory whispered on the wind, a voice he had long since left behind.
You were the true hero all along.
Kale paused for a heartbeat, but did not turn. His path was his own. He walked on, the road stretching endlessly ahead. Yet he knew exactly where he belonged, The mark pulsed one last time, a gentle heartbeat, then settled into a soft, eternal glow. The sun dipped below the horizon, and the world slowly faded to black. A hero unsung, a Saintess undone, and a stolen glory that crumbled to dust. His brother stole everything. But now the Saintess regrets everything.